Hello everyone, hope you're all well. Just thought I'd do a little Christmassy theme this week, have a little bit of fun. As you can see, I've got a paintbrush. I'm going to be using the inside of this roll of tape, and I also have beautiful blue watercolors that we can fill those baubles with. So I'm going to put some onto my page randomly and then just fill them with some Christmas joy, just so that we can have a little bit of fun. So this is the top part where you put the hanging tape through, or the ribbon, whatever you're using. This one I'm going to do over here. This should have a hole in it. Let's put a hole in it. I'm just putting them at different angles because obviously it's quite boring to have them all facing the same way. So let's do that. Right, so what are we going to fill them with? Let's see. Oops, oh, excuse me, a bit of a sneeze. Okay, so I'm just adding a little bit of energy to them. For me, extra pencil lines add energy. You don't have to do this. I'm doing it because this is what I like. I love energy in drawing, and I just feel that a few extra bits of pencil is what gives it to you. So I'm just going to rub out the excess graphite on these baubles. There we go. That one's gone a bit wonky, but that's fine. And then I'm going to add a bit of water, and probably going to have to wait for this to dry, which might be, I'll do one. Let's just see what it looks like in one. So here I am. It's very, very thin, very, very light. Oops, I've just spattered it everywhere, but that's also going to give us a bit of extra movement on our baubles. And then I'm just laying it down. I think this might actually be gouache, just because of the way that it's dried, but that's also fine. So I'm adding it to one side of the bauble, and then I'm going to dip my brush into the water, and I'm going to smooth it over. So obviously this is going to dry a whole lot lighter, but that's also okay. And you can see that today is a very, very hot day because it is drying already on the left hand side. So I just want to keep the water moving. There we go. So there we have one. That is a very, very pretty blue. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a touch more on the left hand side, just for some shadow, just to give it that round look. So I'm doing this in our book that we put together, SketchBook, that we started with. And you can see that this paper is not really for watercolor. It's too thin, obviously being a one. I think this is the Fabriano. This looks like, yes. So it's not the white Kansan, it's the Fabriano. And you can see that it's buckling ever so slightly, but that is to be expected because it isn't made for watercolor. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some color to it. So I've got my Kokies. These are Staedtler Pigment Art graph pens, and I'm going to make this at the top. This is actually a calligraphy. I can tell because of it's chiseled. So it's got a chiseled, if you can see that, a chiseled tip and not a brush pen tip. Put that on there. And don't fill the whole thing in because you want it to almost have that like reflection look. So just fill in a part of it to kind of getting a gold look to the top of our bauble, which is fantastic, absolutely fabulous. I hope this brings you a little bit of joy. I know that to some the holidays are not the greatest. So that's what this is all about, is just to bring a little bit of joy to you and just something different to what we have been doing. So I'm just doing this while I'm waiting for that watercolor to dry. We can carry on with some of these. So these you will fill. Depends entirely on what you want to put inside them. I'm going to do a snowman here. A friend of mine gave me the idea of this. So because my bauble is at that angle, I am putting him at that angle. In fact, let's not follow the rules. Wahaha. Let's follow our own rules. So he is wonky, he will be wonky, but that's fine. So we can put his head in there. There's his body. We can have him with a great big boot on the one or on both sides. Let's put boots on him for a change. You don't generally see snowmen with a boot on. And then he has his twiggy hands. Twiggy hands. And he has his carrot face, nose, big round eyes. Oh, he's starting to look more like a bird than a... Let's put a beret on him so that he actually looks like a snowman. There we go. That's looking a whole lot better. Okay, let's get rid of the excess graphite. Give him a bit of a body. And let's colour him in. I'm going to use the Kokies. I'm going to use the red. Oh, I don't know why. Oh, excuse me. I don't know why I'm sneezing. There must be something going on in the air. So I'm going to use this colour. It's a beautiful, it's a Bordeaux red, it says on it. So let's do... Oh yes, I like that. So let's do that because obviously this is knitted. Of course it is. And we don't want to fill in all the lines. You want the brain to fill that in for you. And then we'll do the bauble and we will do that on the edge to make it look like it is knitted. And we also don't want that to... There we go. Look how fabulous that is looking already. Let's add a few more in there. Right. Then let's have a look and see. We need orange. So there's his carrot nose. Looking a bit like Pinocchio more than... I'm not quite sure, but I'm going to make his eyes blue. We don't have snowmen in South Africa. And so this is something new. Well, when I say new, this is something that I'm doing. Just for the fun of it. There we go. It's a bit of a outline, and I'm deliberately using this sort of grey just for a bit of shadow. I don't think it looks too bad at all. And then we can give him maybe some turquoise boots. Maybe you can put in the comments if you build snowmen, what your snowmen look like. There we go. And now we just need to do, I'm going to use this brighter green. We just need to do the twig for his hands. There we go. Let's take, I think I'm going to use do I have a darker brown here? Yes, I do. It's for a little bit of a shadow, that twig. There we go. Yes, look at that. He's our beautiful, beautiful first snowman. I'm going to put some shoelaces on him. A bit more of a clown than a boot. Give it a cuff. But that's also okay because they're ours and we can do whatever we like. So, what are we going to do for the mouth? I do have a bright red here, so we can just put in a mouth like that. There we go. So there's our first one. There's our snowman. Just got a very, very lighter grey just to give it a bit more depth. A bit more shadow. I'm just going to go around the outside of this ball because this one we will keep glass, let's say. that it's see-through, but it still has that shadow that you get on the edge of the glass. Right, so there's our snowman. That's our first one. This is still a tiny tad bit damp. And then I thought we could do a tree. So if I start there and I end here, and I do a zigzag tree. Yeah, that works quite nicely. There we go. Oh, that looks fab. Right, so we've got our zigzag tree. You can put a star on the end of it. There we go. There's our star on our tree. And give it a bit of a base. Fabulous, fabulous little tree. Okay, so what should we do around this one? We've already got blue. Okay, I'm going to leave that one for the moment. What are we going to do in this nice blue one here? Should we do Rudolph? Let's start off with a nose. So there's Rudolph. Oh, I'll have to extend that little nose. So there's Rudolph's nose. And what color am I going to use? I think I'm going to stick to the blue. So if we do, I don't want him to look too much like a Snoopy. Starting to look a bit like a Snoopy. But he's my reindeer, so that's also fine. And his antlers, and take them out of the, I hope this is what they look like. Please do not judge me. Again, we don't have reindeer, so he is just my take on a bauble. I'm just going to move his nose over and make it fatter. There we go. I'm just going to take the same blue and put it around the outside. So I'm not sure if I've used the correct colors here. I perhaps should have used another color for Rudolph, because I have got blue already in the background. But perhaps what I can do, and I might muck this up, and that's also fine, is just change his color. Now you can see that this paper is really struggling underneath all this that I'm putting onto it, because it is really primarily for graphite and not for, I don't think it's for wet. I'll put that on top of his nose there. So there we go. We have a reindeer, we have a tree, and we have, and I don't want to muck this up, and I'm just going to put a few little decorations. There we go. And then we have 3 gorgeous baubles for our tree that we have made ourselves. I think they look very, very pretty indeed, and considering they've just taken a few minutes and they brought so much joy, well, for me anyway, they brought some joy. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to muck around. I have got some, I think this is gouache, because I can see how it has kind of dried. Putting this on my brush, tapping it off, and I'm just going to splatter. So we don't have snowflakes, but this is my take on some snowflakes on our baubles. There we go. I hope you've all enjoyed this, and I hope you'll have some fun of your own, making your own baubles and just getting into the holiday mood. Bye bye everyone.